Welcome to the Nations Cup, everybody. It is the regional qualifier for Poland. Napierdalaj. Let's go, boys. We're going to go over the system a little bit, about what the Nations Cup means, about the offline finals, about details to the event and all of this in just a couple of seconds. But let's introduce the players of our best of 5 here. We have Rospedol in blue on the left with Makotzlon, Garrosh, Bronek on Mediv, Rutek on Anduin, Ziomek on Sergeant Hammer, and Arkunis is playing Blaze. There's Infernal Shrines, and over to the right side, Disgusting with Itrax on Hanzo. We got Richu on Sonia, Lavakal on Brightwing, Alvaros on Chromie, and Twice is playing Diablo. So, where to start? I've been teasing this already ever since Meta Madness happened, and this is the Nations Cup. So we have North American, a European, and an Asian qualifier, and all of these games are going to accumulate at the end of the day at an offline final in Berlin. Now, if you watch this on YouTube right now, you can jump down into the description of the video. There's going to be additional information. You can follow the link and read up on all of this. But what you're looking at here is the Polish qualifier. So pretty much at the end of the day, what we're doing is we have 16 teams in Europe at least. We're focusing first and foremost here on the European qualifier, but we're also going to cover matches of the other regions later on. But in the European qualifier, we have a group stage with 4 groups of 4 teams, each team representing one country, so 16 teams and 16 countries in total. And after the group stage, only the top 2 teams out of each of these groups will then advance to a round-robin system with the 8 remaining teams. But obviously, there are a couple of countries that have a lot of good players, have a lot of players that would like to represent their country in the Nations Cup. So there are regional qualifiers, and this is exactly what you're looking at right now. We pretty much allowed as many teams to sign up for this tournament as wanted, and as soon as we had multiple teams for one country sign up, they started to play just a round robin. So in this case, we had 2 teams that were signing up for Poland, that were trying to represent Poland in the Nations Cup, Rospedol and Disgusting, and therefore the 2 of them play a best of 5 series, and the winner of this series then participates in the group stage that I've talked about earlier. For Germany, we had in total 3 teams, and I believe Sweden had also 3, so a lot of this stuff is going to be covered later. But this is more or less the preamble to the entire thing. So this is the teams just trying to get into a position where they can represent their country then. So it's a best of 5 series between the 2 teams here, and in this case there were only 2 teams of Polish players that wanted to participate here. So the winner of this best of 5 will then qualify directly for the group stage itself. It's also noteworthy that we adjusted the rules slightly. Now, this isn't quite Meta Madness, but we incorporated at least a few aspects out of Meta Madness, since the tournament format not only has a whole lot of fans, but also it makes things more interesting. You've been already probably looking at the heroes in the lineup and noticed that there's a lot of heroes represented that were not allowed during the recent Meta Madness event. But there's still one rule that we stuck with, and that was that every single hero within this series can only be played once. That doesn't inconvenience the players too much. It is still a nice rule to make sure that you're not encountering the same hero over and over again within a series. Just makes things a little bit more interesting. And that's all that it was supposed to do. It's not supposed to put the teams into a position where they will end up with their Murkies and Gazlos later on, but it's just something that makes things a little bit more spicy, a little bit more interesting also for the audience, and that's all there's to it. But there are no pre-bans for the offline event. Things might change a little bit. There is a crowdfund thing that we have attached to the entire event. And obviously you should check that out as well, and there's a couple of goals in there that might result in a few pre-banned heroes. But just generally speaking, if you want to support events like this, especially offline events, of course, you should have a look at the crowdfunding that are also linked in the description. Either way, at the offline event we will have 6 teams, and they're playing for a minimum prize pool of $5,000. And already a little bit of action over here in the middle as Twice gets attacked, rooted, locked down and nearly killed, but Brightwing coming in and helping out just as the last moment. Alright, so we're off to the first Punisher. In this case, didn't even get contested. Disgusting was able to lock this one in without any troubles whatsoever. The Mediv team just quickly getting it over the wall, and with that, oh, nice flip here. And that could be the first kill of the game. So far, we haven't seen a single hero die, but it seems that Twice is going to be the first one. Gets attacked again, and Garrosh himself comes in and drops him. But no, Medivh gets Hanzo'd and loses the stacks that he had. And then a second later, Sergeant Hammer gets dismantled with Anduin also dying. Now, that went from, hey boys, we got first blood, to, oh my god, we're all dying within seconds. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate here for Rospierdoll. Disgusting comes in swinging. They lose Diablo, but then they are able to turn 3 heroes to dust a second later. So job well done by them. Quick note also, we have some new merch in the shop, so we actually have some Nations Cup merch that will be there for a limited time only, probably until the offline finals, I would say, but especially for the people that are interested to come to Berlin and visit the offline event and shake hands with players, commentators, and of course a lot of like-minded fans. You might want to check that out, link again as usual in the description. There was always the question if there is an entrance fee. There is not, so all you gotta do is show up. The offline finals are the 10th and 11th of June in Berlin, and as I said, more information can be found in the details further down below. So over in our first game, the action is already starting to spice up a little bit as the red team has started to be aggressive, and that resulted in the top fort being destroyed. So not only did they get themselves 3 kills, but they also destroyed that top fort without any problems whatsoever here. Same time now, the level 10 ability is kicking in, and they got a bit of a window that they can play around with. Now, it's not really a massive one, so any moment now the heroic abilities for Rospierdoll are going to be ready too. But let's see if they can maybe do a bit more around this and get a kill themselves once they have access. So by now we got the ley line, we also have Anduin with the light bomb. Bit of a battle between Blaze and Brightwing at the top, so Lava Cult just trying to get the experience for the team and keep them in play here. Whereas Richu in the middle with Sonya has successfully taken down one of the towers and is working on a bit more with the camp. Blaze not hitting the stun, but able to get out here. Could of course always be an aggressive play. And Bronek on his Medivh is struggling a little bit. He's sitting at 7 stacks now. So initially he was sitting topside. Oh, the arrow! Oh, that one was good. And that's a lot of damage. Talking about Medivh struggling, here he is again. Getting killed. And that is kill number 5. Disgusting with some pretty spicy plays as they are trying to make sure that they're going to be the ones to represent Poland in the Nations Cup. It's actually quite interesting also. I never really thought that the concept of a Nations Cup or World Cup would be this confusing to people. But you cannot believe the amount of players, the amount of fans that came in asking if player XYZ that is not from this and that country can play for that country. It's like, no, like your passport counts. This is a Nations Cup. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you are not a citizen of that country, you cannot play for that country. I don't care where you live. It's pretty much the same rules that you have with any other World Cup, with any other Nations Cup. But that caused a lot of confusion. And obviously there's always going to be a couple of players, right, that are heavily inconvenienced by it. Some regions, some countries, they had problems getting a proper 5-man together, which is unfortunate for the one top player that they have in that country. Some people live in the country for a long time, but they don't have the citizenship, but that's just simply the rules of the game. That's how this works. So a little bit of action here as another ley line is saving the day. But the red team is controlling things quite nicely. We have 6 kills to 1 now. They have already won the first objective. We have a top lane push executed thanks to the camp that they took a bit earlier. So not only on the micro level in team fights with their coordination they're currently excelling, but they also have good control over the macro. And with all that protection that exists for Sergeant Hammer, there's a huge problem currently for Rospierdoll to get Sergeant Hammer into a position where she can control these pushes. Now, initially that makes a lot of sense because you don't have your level 7, you have a severe lack of mobility. But once that you can rely on the hover siege mode, things usually change a little bit and Sergeant Hammer becomes incredibly difficult to deal with. Now, Chromie against her is obviously a very, very huge asset to have. And in addition to that, there's also Hanzo, who has supplied us with some very nice arrows that really help the team. By now it's 25,000 damage for the Chromester. We got 16,000 for Sergeant Hammer, and with the second fort at the bottom of the map destroyed, we're now focusing on the first keep of the game. Sonya playing it out against Blaze in the middle of the map, and she is putting more and more pressure onto this fort as well. It's the last remaining one, and I don't really think it's going to make it for long. They are nibbling away at the hit points at the bottom keep too, but they play it safe as the blue team reaches level 13 and gets their additional talent. But just generally speaking, some really nice plays being executed here by Disgusting, and they are of course trying to force the issue here in game number 1. Now this little tiebreaker that we have, this little mini qualifier between the Polish teams, is going to determine very quickly which one makes it. And in this best of 5, of course, taking the lead would mean quite a bit. You always want to win that initial game, giving yourself a bit of breathing room there. But level 16, I mean, they got 2-level lead right now, so things are looking really, really good. For Hospital, it's just important that they take a good position around the next objective, and that might be difficult considering that they will probably not have access to the same talent here as Disgusting, so that's already a big problem that they're probably experiencing it. But if they are able to get a couple of kills like this one, that might change things. So this was a very nice gank up at the top lane against Brightwing. Obviously, the arrows sent towards the top lane in an attempt to buy a little bit of time for the Fruit Fly to get out, but Trashwing got eliminated after all. Got his little wings clipped there, you might say. And now another attack is already coming as Blaze looks for the stun. Can at least dismount Hanzo, but he seems to be able to get out here. And Akun is nearly dead, and Chromie is going to try and make sure that he's not going to survive that engagement. There's the kill on Garrosh. The bunker comes down, and Blaze gets murdered as well. Hits are coming in, kill after kill, and that is Sergeant Hammer gone, level 16, long in the hands of the red team. Bronick on his Medivh trying again to get a few stacks together for the baseline, but things are not looking pretty. There's already a camp at the bottom of the map with a catapult, and the team is of course homing now in on the first keep of the game. And after they destroyed all the forts, they might even go a little bit deeper here, since it's only Anduin that is left. And we all know that the Crybaby can't fight. He can't do shit. The guy doesn't even know how to use a sword. So already they're in deep trouble, as we have Garrosh coming to the rescue, at least attempting to, but the core is losing its shield, is losing it quickly. Sergeant Hammer back to business. There's Blaze. They're trying to counter kill. The core is dropping hit points though. And the barbecue of Diablo as he comes in and trying to hit them hard. Again, Hammer in trouble, and that is the end. Got Hanzo'd hard. The core down to 64%, and this seems to be the end of game number 1, as Disgusting is just applying more and more pressure against the blue team. And oh boy, even the game itself is already starting to struggle with this one, because that was quite the beating. And with 11 kills, 2-4, Disgusting locks in the W and takes the lead in the best of 5 series here at the Nations Cup. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Game number 2, Hospital is down 1 map in the best of 5 here at the regional qualifier for Poland. Disgusting has won on Infernal Shrines, and map number 2 is Battlefield of Eternity. As over to the left side, we got a Nubarak played by Makotzel, Akunis on Hogger, Ziomek on Liming, Bronek on Maiev, Rutek on Stukov, and to the right side of the map for Disgusting, it is Lavakal on Rega, Richu on Rexa, Alvaro on Jaina, twice on Murden, and Itrax is playing Greymane. Now, quick reminder, heroes can only be played once within a series. So the 10 heroes that were played on the previous map cannot be played again. It's a little bit of a tip to the head to the Meta Madness rules, but we are not going that extreme, as I explained already in game number 1. The goal here is not to get all the Gaslows and the Murkies in the yard. The goal is more so to just make this a little bit more interesting for the audience, for the players as well, and ensure that you're not looking at a Genji Hanzo represented in either the picks or bans of every single map. So just a little bit of a slight adjustment here. But as it is, there are of course a lot of choices when you're talking about Battlefield of Eternity, particularly when it comes to immortal damage, and that's where Greymane is going to play a huge role for the red team. Li Ming, on the other hand, with a lot that she can contribute to. And they are contributing a lot of pain at the top lane with a quick kill executed by Greymane against the solo lane of Rospedol. Now that's bad news, because that means that they have to split somebody off from the bottom of the map. And there it is. So with this we now have 1 kill, 2-0 right from the start. A little bit of structural damage done topside. In this case, one of the towers was destroyed and also the wall nearly taken down. Same time now though, down to the bottom of the map, Lavakal and Alvaros, they are the two holding the line for the red team, as Zeomech is still firing away and helping out the boys at the camp. But this is getting a little bit dangerous topside, because there is always a chance that they're just trying to go through the entire gate and try to take a structural advantage. Down to the bottom of the map, it's now a full-on 3v3 as the red team has decided to take up position here. Good Stormbolt, nice timing, and they take the camp. So already a huge win for Disgusting right at the beginning of the game, as they are able to not only get a kill, do a bit more structural damage, but also grab themselves a camp, whereas the opponent has not done anything topside either. So this is a pretty neat advantage that they have. Stormbolt held back a little bit, but Twice is missing it. They can't get the kill on Maiev, and off we go. Level 4 on the board. They got the extra talent, therefore an immediate move to try and take the camp down to the bottom of the map. The blue team was attempting to exploit the numbers advantage they were running here, but Jaina made it out. So no kill for Rospedol. And quick hits coming in very, very quickly. Now we got the Sledgehammer in on level 4. We also got the Frost Shards with level 4 kicking in for the blue team. We have now both of them making their moves. The Bed of Barbs has been taken. Triumvirate for Li Ming. Top side. One of the towers is now about to be destroyed by a mercenary camp if they don't pay attention to it. Now, of course, it's all about the Immortal that's going to spawn in just a second. Both teams have started to take their shaman camps, and the blue team isn't being interrupted here either. At the top, the dream would have been to get another kill against the solo lane, of course. Highly unlikely in that situation, but still, it's what you would love to go for. And with that now, we have a bit of an attack happening down at the bottom of the map as the blue team is attempting to defend. They still got a double camp topside to go up against, which is where Horga is currently positioning himself. And down to the bottom of the map, with the help of Greymane and Jaina working in tandem, they can very quickly take these camps out, which they pretty much do. So that shaman camp doesn't stand a chance. There's already a slight lead on the immortal hit points for Disgusting. Nothing to write home about yet, but they are of course going to try and push the envelope a little bit. Horga has now taken over the attack for the blue team, but down here, Li Ming in trouble, and in comes Murden. And that is the end of Li Ming, and therefore one of the main damage dealers for the red team. So the blue team is sorry for Disgusting, for Hospital. So with that, we now have again 2 kills to 0. Numbers advantage and the immediate attack that we're now seeing from Greymane. The Wolf Pack, not only Greymane but also Rhaegar helping out here. I mean, Kunis alone is not going to change the outcome of this one, so he needs a bit more help, and that's why we're seeing Nubarak and some others making their way over to the right side. But as you can already tell, unless they're able to get a couple of kills in very quickly, they're going to have a rough time here dealing with that situation. The Immortal is already incredibly low, and unless there's a bit of a miracle happening, this is going to be objective number 1 for Disgusting. So, hits are coming. There's the quick move by Greymane over, and yeah, this is a pretty big shield. I mean, we're looking at what, 70% roughly. So, job well done. Talent advantage, 2 wizened duelist now. We got the ice flores over here, and let's go. Bot lane is where we're headed. So let's see what they can pull off here. Damage is gonna be there for sure, thanks to Greymane in particular. Hasn't split towards the top, so if you get him on structures in Worgen form at any point, then he is going to absolutely crush. On level 7, we now got the Leeching Scarabs in. We got the Dense Blasting Powder. Talking about blasting, Li Ning is trying to blast them a new one from the backline, but Zeomech has to be careful, and so does Anubarak as Greyman is starting to move in. Zeomech trying to make the engage, hasn't picked his level 7 talent yet, so we don't have Calamity at this point in time. Maiev is down, so she is gone. That's another kill for the red team, and they're forcing them so far past the fort that they can take the outer structure without a problem at all. Calamity finally taken, and another bit of an attack happening topside as Hogger is trying to make his way out, going up against Misha and Rexa, able to escape at least for now, but with Jaina appearing, he needs to back off a lot further. So yeah, off we go. With this, more damage being done, Muradin leading the charge here. They come in with Maiev, and Muradin is very quickly realizing that he doesn't want to be at the front. Not with that hit point pool. Budget Gimli riding into battle with the money pick, as any proud soldier does. But now that they are more than half a level ahead and have taken that bot lane structure apart, their early game is looking very, very good. So, as it stands, we now have the attack slowly kicking in through the top, thanks to the camp that they just took. There's a Stormbolt attempt. Hogger already panicking a little bit, and for very good reason. I mean, they are really trying to put the screws on now. Not only do we have them with the wall destroyed, they create as much space as they can for themselves, they're also closing in on level 10 abilities, and once that they have level 10, things are going to escalate quickly. But it's at the same time an opportunity for Hospital to try and get a kill before those heroic abilities are available. And since nobody on the red team is down at the bottom of the map, they cannot dual soak. So they have all their forces at the top, but decide to split Rexa off regardless so he can hold the bot lane. Now there's a half level lead, a little bit less than that with level 10. Should be easily bridged within those 28 seconds that the blue team has available before the objective spawns. But maybe there's an opportunity for the red team to make a play. I could have seen them to invade, for example, over here. Now, this would have been very aggressive since the gap is very small, or was very small, but if executed immediately, they could have tried to pull this off. As it stands now, they didn't really get anything out of having that small experience lead. Both teams are on level 10, but here comes the attack, and this time, nice, with good stuns. This might actually be the end of Greymane, trying to get out and gets popped to death. Ring of Frost with only one connect. They're trying for a second kill, and bam! Muradin gets murdered. 2 kills in a row for Rospierdol. Nice. Job well done. Therefore, a shot at the Immortal. Now, they need someone at the top lane to very quickly deal with the camp here, and that's exactly what Akunis on Hogger is attempting to do, but as you can see, this fort is losing hit points, and it's losing them quickly. Now, he is very likely going to be able to save it, but boy oh boy, does this thing take damage. Huge problem. Now, as it stands, the red team is back to business. Experience is fairly even, and halftime show was obviously lost to Disgusting, but they still have a chance to bring back objective number 2, and they're trying to be aggressive around it. And Muradin, not only does he miss the Stormbolt, but he's also immediately in trouble, is barely able to jump out here. Activated the avatar just in time. Disc is out. They got Disc and Cocoons, so they have a lot of tools to really section off parts of the team. But with the fight not really yielding a result for Rospierdol, they had to back off a little bit, and that gave Disgusting an opportunity to dish out some free damage on the Immortal. Obviously, the blue team is pushing back into position, but this could get interesting very quickly. Now, there's a lot of ults that are slowly coming back here, and one of... Oh, no! Nice kill on Anubarak. Anub got wrecked, and, well, that's another Stormbolt, and bye-bye, Maiev. Yeah, Disgusting. They are a little bit disgusting, aren't they? They came in, lost 2 heroes, lost the halftime show, and then they just said, alright boys, time to win the game. Let's go. 6 kills to 2, and they're actually turning this objective around. They already won the first objective. Now they're looking at Immortal number 2, and things are looking good. Now on the left side of the map, blue team still trying to do their thing. They're still trying to hold the lanes a little bit and, of course, push this out as best as they can. But let's face it, with the Immortal traveling towards the top, the fate of the fort there is sealed. The only question is, can they save the keep itself? Now, there's only Immortal number 2, so it's not really too big of a problem. At 10 minutes in, maybe the wall falls, but that's probably going to be it. We now have a level 13, the Earth Shield in. We also get the Bronze Beard Rage. It obviously helps him quite a bit here, and Muradin is already back to his old shenanigans. Right there at the front, throwing out Storm Bolts like they're a dime a dozen, and is trying to set up some kill opportunities for the rest of the team. They are doing a much better job here than I expected, by the way. The Immortal has just now switched over into melee mode, and the entire wall is already gone. This is getting really dangerous. Level 13 is already in play for Disgusting, and yes, the Immortal is losing hit points quickly, but so is the Keep. They might get this one. Damn, son. First one destroyed the fort, and now it could be the keep itself. Ring is out, and Nuburak is dead. Our boy is doing a lot of dying here. Actually, less than I expected. He only died 2 times. It feels like more, but the keep's gone. And now it could be the end of Stukov as everybody is jumping onto Rutek. He's trying to get out here, barely able to escape. Even the core could lose some hit points if this continues. It's actually getting nasty. Disgusting is not letting up on this at all. They're just applying more and more pressure here and is doing an absolute number on Rospedal. The core down to 92% at this point in time. We're only 11.5 minutes into this. So very nicely done by the red team. This was a much more successful attack than I initially expected it to be. So very nicely executed. Li Ming desperate, you can actually tell. She went straight into the glass cannon. She just said, alright boys, we need something here. We just need something. Li Ming needs to pop off. She needs to come in with a big damage. It's the only chance that they have. So they're risking it all here. And you can also tell from the positioning, they were hoping to catch the opponent over here at the camp. They're trying to force fights. They know that they're going to be in rough shape once level 16 connects for Disgusting. So they're attempting to force the battle before that's a thing. But good luck with that. Now they have a few tools where they can attempt to force the fight. They got Cocoon, they got the Disc, they got a lot of stuns available here. But this is not going to be easy at all. Yeah, alright. So, top side. One more camp up for grabs. Blue team just trying to slow down the lanes a little bit and the push that comes there. But obviously they cannot afford to lose another objective. They just can't. They have to go. They gotta go all out on this one. And they have to be really aggressive. And there's a safe path for the red team. They're not risking too much here. They're just double checking on the camp. They're taking this quickly. This will push directly for the top side core. And now they can play it slow on the objective itself, wait for level 16, and then play the advantage with their extra talent over the opponent's team. So it's a pretty comfortable position to be in for Disgusting. Keep in mind, this is a best of 5, so we're deciding which team represents Poland at the Nations Cup in this little preliminary qualifier. And right now, Rospedal is starting to look a little bit panicky. They gotta somehow put a point on the board. If Disgusting wins Battlefield of Eternity, then a 2-0 lead would be guaranteed, and that means that the blue team has to pull off a reverse sweep if they want to represent their country in the upcoming Nations Cup. So if they can do that or not, that's a very different question. A little bit that the red team is apparently willing to sacrifice. They went up to the top trying to do immortal damage instead of defending their own fort. Hogger still defending over the top left. Halftime show nearly won. Muradin with a bit more pressure thanks to the stuns. He himself has to go quickly into Avatar. Even the Ancestral gets booted out here. The Cocoon is out. There's the Shockwave. They're all in the choke point here. Another stun, another hit. A big dive from Muradin. And they're going for Nuburak again. The ring connects. Jaina with the ice block trying to avoid getting killed herself. The catapult's already homing in on the core as the Stormbolt misses again. They were trying to go for Maiev but couldn't quite take her down. And the blue team, or the red team, is already falling back towards the Immortal as the blue team is forced to defend their core. The level 16 Talons, definitely a nice advantage now for Disgusting, but not completely on this objective just yet. Now, they lost the lower structure, so that's something that definitely happened here. Rhaegar also just got caught, so Rhaegar is down. They're trying to get another quick kill in. And Twice might be in trouble here. He doesn't have any of his abilities up. He doesn't have... Oh, there's the jump. That came online just at the right moment. We got 7 kills, 2-3, nearly level 60 now also for the blue team. Catapults amassing at the top lane, but finally an opportunity for Rospiedol to get the talent and bring this back. Alright, so with that we now have also Greymane jumping in a little bit deeper. Another ring, this time not connecting with anything here outside of a beetle. It's not quite what they were aiming for. And Jaina might just be in trouble. She ice blocks for just a moment, but there's a couple of stuns that are likely available thanks to Greymane. And Li Ming is starting to pop off. That's why they took their level 13. They needed her to pop off. So Glass Cannon it was, and Li Ming so far is doing exactly what she needed to do. She's sitting at 40,000 damage, same damage numbers as Greymane. Catapults on the core doing some damage, but definitely not enough to seriously threaten it. And the fight for the objective is still ongoing, as Disgusting is just throwing everything and their poodle against the Immortal. Trying to burn it down, but they lose it. Yeah, barely lost out on it. 1,200 hit points. And now an opportunity for the blue team to finally get some headway on this one and maybe put that point onto the board that they're looking for here. 5 kills to 8, so a lot of resources invested by Disgusting to no avail. They weren't able to claim it. But also, since the blue team isn't really in position yet, here's a big opportunity to take down this Immortal in Notcher 2 before the opponent is even in position to push. So, not too shabby, honestly. I mean, this thing does pretty much nothing. You can easily poke this out from a distance now. And only getting the wall and not even the fort itself is definitely not what you're here for. So the blue team is trying to look for a kill again, but this time the ring is a lot better and it results with Stukov dying. Stukov is dead, and now it is a question of whether or not they can get a few more hits in. Yep, that's the problem with Glass Cannon, of course. As long as you're not getting targeted, you get enormous damage out. But the second that you are becoming the center of attention, you are just gonzo. 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. A 4th is hitting the floor as we have Bronek focused, and that, ladies, is likely gonna be it. Another Stormbolt connects. Jaina is already on the core. It looks like a 2-0 lead in the best of 5 for Disgusting, as the red team is attempting to represent Poland in the upcoming Nations Cup. A 2-0 lead, meaning that we're headed for game number 3 and therefore also the first match point for Disgusting. Nicely done. 2-level lead, 13 kills to 5 as they lock in the W on a Battlefield of Eternity. GG. Disgusting is ahead with a 2-0, 3 match points. Yeah, Rospiedol really has to dig deep now if they want to represent their country in the Nations Cup. We have now on Towers of Doom on the left side, Makotzel with Dehaka, Bronek on Alarak, Rutek on Valkyrian, Ziomek is playing Kerrigan, and Arkunis on Leoric. To the right side of the map, it's Disgusting with Lavakal on Tyrande, Alvaros on Kel'Thas. We have Itrex on Deathwing, Richu and on Urel, and Twice is playing Stitches. Now again, just a quick reminder, I know I already mentioned it in game number 1 and game number 2, but this is still one of the first games that we have here at the Nations Cup, and I'm pretty sure some people are forgetting about it. So heroes can only be played once. A little bit of a tip of a hat play and rule change towards Meta Madness, but obviously we're not trying to go as crazy as Meta Madness does with forcing the teams to think outside of the box. But since every single hero can only be played once within a series, you still have to make a couple of adjustments. Now, there's plenty of meta heroes still available, but the occasional off-meta hero that you might see is pretty easily explained through exactly that. So as Kerrigan already rides into battle, they're hoping for Zeomech to set up some kills for them. And it's a very aggressive composition that gets actually played by the blue team, but it seems that ruleset is still going to be the first one to die here. So with Kerrigan and Alarak on the same team, they're just trying to be massively aggressive. And they're even using the Haka and Leoric as their frontliners. So not properly looking at an actual main tank. Now you can obviously play Leo as a main tank. You can play the Haka more or less as a main tank. So it's kind of interesting, but it's not what you would normally see here, especially not in the third game. But you have a couple of adjustments that are being made, and as I already explained, what Rospedol is more or less trying to do here is just to be hyper-aggressive. It's just a lot of melees that they're throwing into the fray here. They have a lot of good setups, a lot of good control. The problem with this draft is simply that once you're committed, you're committed. You have a very hard time getting out of there. And there are a lot of things that can be done on the side of Disgusting to really make their life a living hell. We have some tools around Khaldor later on, besides the Gravity Lab, simply with living bombs that can slow melee heroes down. You have the stuns from Tyrande, Stitches obviously too. So things are gonna become a bit tricky as the game continues. For Rospedol, the ideal scenario is just momentum. You want to build momentum, you want to get aggressive here. And Khaldor goes down, so they are able to get that kill. Kerrigan is barely making it out of the battle, but she's making it out of the battle, so that's already all that they needed to do here. With that, we have just a bit of bot lane control regained by them. We also have to, of course, keep a close eye on the citizen stacks of Alarak. He is one of the main damage dealers for the team now. And if he is going to be able to maintain these stats and not die, that could help them as the game progresses. With Stitches, Tyrande and Khaldor, you have, by the way, a lot of good follow-ups after a hook that you can use to ensure that the target can easily be killed and or isolated. So we have to be careful around that too. Now, it is still Towers of Doom, so we're looking at the first triple altar phase, and who will... that is probably going to be the end of our boy here. Stitches wanted some playtime, but maybe got a bit too much of that. No? They saved him? Damn, son! Even with the Dehaka link here, he should be absolutely fine. Twice is looking good. Nicely done. Alvaro's dodging out on some of that action here, whereas the hook hits Dehaka. Top left, top right, the channels have already started, and Urel managed to get the first altar connected. Another hit, another stun. Deathwing also in the thick of things as they're trying to now go down to the bottom altar and battle for it. It's the final one, and it is getting a bit spicy here. Oh, a lot of good action. A couple of nice hooks that we already saw. A good lick from Akotzel here. Then Alarak with a continuous attempt to get one of the squishies. And still the fight for the bottom altar. So another move for Dehaka, who immediately has to fall back a little bit. And another burn. Burn, baby, burn. No Ragnaros in this one, but still. We got level 7 talents for Rospedol. A little bit faster on this one. The attack's still happening. Urel jumping in. Deathwing. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Deathwing down, but they get the counter kill on Alarak, so now those citizen stacks are reset back to 100, and it seems like the Haka is also not gonna make it. Great hook against Malfurion, and Bird Boy is dead. So, great job once again by Disgusting. Initially, they were the ones to lose Deathwing, but now another 4 shots get fired. They claim the third altar and therefore take the lead in game number 3. And let's not forget, this is match point. So, since there's only 2 teams that signed up for Poland, if Disgusting wins this series, they will represent Poland in the Nations Cup. There's a few countries that only 1 team sign up, a couple of countries that had 3 teams signed up. I think that was, by the way, the most. I don't think there was a single country that had 4 teams sign up. It would have been a pretty big regional qualifier. Leo down, activating his trade, my apologies. Leoric made a calculated decision and activated his trade. That's all that happened here. So another hit happening. Oh, Zeomech. Yeah, there's the quick push on Kerrigan. Another kill. We got 6 kills on the board now for the red team. Throughout the entire series, their coordination in the team fights was pretty much on point. But in comes our boy Leoric with a quick drain on Deathwing, and that is that. Nice. So, all the way up towards the top. What do we have here? Rechu, he's reclaiming speed for the team, trying to get them faster to level 10. It's not really that they're going to have a big advantage here. Both of the teams have done a very diligent job around the minions, especially, of course, with the rotations that we're seeing on the blue team side with Dehaka, Carrigan, Leoric. Can do a lot here. Counter-Strike on level 10 for Dehaka, and Tomb going to play a huge role here. And I said Tomb with good follow-ups from Carrigan and Alarak would just absolutely destroy. Now, we get Putrid Bile with all of the melee characters on the other side. Stitches has adjusted his build a little bit, and of course it is the Bellowing Roar. That was to be expected. If you're going up against such a melee-heavy team as the blue team plays here, then you need to try and create some space, and this is what they're currently attempting to do with all of this. Now, interrupts are happening as Tyrande is sending one Hogwarts Owl out after another. So Hedwig keeps flying, but in this case, I think they're going to let this one go. No, they got Deathwing. Yeah, of course. You not only have Tyrande to piss people off, but you got Deathwing too, so good luck with the channel. That's not going to happen anytime soon, especially since you're not only looking at Deathwing alone, but also comboed up with Tyrande, so that makes matters worse. They have the Starfall. Oh, good hook. Great hook. Good fear, and that is the end of Malfurion. Yeah, Malfurion is dead. Kunis is on the run, and I don't think that Leo is going to survive this one. Not if Urel has anything to say about that. Blop jumps straight on him. Another quick channel as Tyrande is trying to get the shots connected, and indeed she does. So now we're down to 28 points on the blue team's core. Dehaka tunneling in, going actually into the middle, trying to cuddle up with Deathwing a little bit. And talking about Deathwing, Atrax is already on the way over to the Pumpkin Camp. Things are looking good. They're looking good for Disgusting. A 2-0 lead in the best of 5. They are ahead in kills. They are ahead on the core. It's nothing crazy. I mean, again, this is still Towers of Doom. Anything can happen here. And the longer the games last, the late game and all the momentum that teams are attempting to build up there, that's what really matters the most. But currently, Disgusting is doing a great job, obviously. So, either way, another camp gets taken down to the bottom of the map. We have Dehaka for a second, hoping to get a dragon and very quickly realizing that he is going to be the one on the dinner table if he doesn't pay attention there. So lost a lot of hit points with that little barrage that came in. Same is also true for the Auric. That man is just skin and bones. What a joke. Fantastic. So yeah, 13 to 13 in just a second. Leo is down. That was kill number 9. And we nearly had another one incoming, but this time Malfurion was able to avoid the hook. Kalthas, by the way, is sitting at 18 stacks, so another 2, and he has his shield. It's a little bit late, but still, it's going to really, really help him here if this continues. Carrigan is also sitting in the middle, and since she's getting attacked right away by Urel, this might actually be the end of her. Yeah, nice Chrysalis, well done, but I still don't think that she's going to survive this one. So Carrigan is gone, and they are losing more and more ground now. Another hook, another stun, and the follow-up is there. Goodbye, Alarak. He gets wrecked. Another channel happening at the top right as Deathwing contributes 4 points. That's 24 against 36 now. And since they are getting kill after kill, they are also pulling ahead in experience. And it's a very cool setup that they're playing here. I pointed out all of the CC at the beginning of the game, but since the blue team has to heavily commit to all the team fights with the melee lineup they're running, they are just having a huge amount of trouble to get kills if the initial fight turns against them. Now it's 12 kills to 3. The wall has been destroyed here, and we are down to 20 points on the core for Rospierdol. So this is pretty nasty. Double stun. Already we have Rutek committing to his ult with Malfurion, but they might get a kill here, and Tomb is out. It's a 4 versus 5, and they bit off a little bit more than they can chew. Down goes Kalthas, the end of Deathwing. The pings are happening all over the place, but this one backfired a bit. Now, they are doing a great job on Malfurion and drop him too. Mini Malf was not able to waddle his way out of harm's way there. But we have another jump from Urel as she activated the ult just in the nick of time to survive. So at least they got a counter kill. But that's the moment where you gotta be careful. It was a 4 versus 5 and they took it. And they were absolutely punished for it. Carrigan also with a deep dive just a second ago then against Deathwing as he was trying to get out. Those are always the fun ones, when you have like a Genji jumping in deep and he pulls an Orega or a Carrigan. Those are always the entertaining ones, but in this case it actually led to the death of Deathwing. So with 118 sadism stacks, Alarak is now also starting to put the numbers on a bit more. And talking about Alarak, he actually gets hit hard here. Yeah, Bellowing War also used, didn't get him a lot, didn't get him anything honestly. But we now have 30,000 damage for Alarak, he's top damage on the blue team. Whereas Deathwing has 40,000 for Disgusting, and Carrigan is dead again. Death number 3 on Carrigan. They have level 16 now, but things are a little bit rough. And guess who's channeling again? It's the Karen of the Storm. It is Tyrande. So, there she is. Gets the shots fired. With that, we have another altar in the middle. And the hooks, they still keep coming. They might not hit all the time, but given the amount of hooks that have been connected by Stitches, just the sheer presence of Stitches and his ability to get those hooks are already a huge problem for them. Aatrox a little bit low, is able to get away. Nice. Again, the CC saving the day for the red team. They're still trying to go for Bronek, and I guess eventually they're going to take Alarak down, so he's eliminated. 16 kills to 5 now. Core down to 16, and they're just not stopping. Can't stop, won't stop. Apparently a couple of problems here with Stitches. That's actually really surprising. So apparently Twice dropped several times from the game. As you can see here, he is still playing as a bot. So it seems that despite the fact... normally what happens is players just played out slowly, paused the game, but he went massively over time as it seems, and Twice is finally back to business, but they were just for a couple of seconds forced to play with an actual bot. Now in this case it didn't have an impact on the actual team fight, but this is something to keep an eye on, because if it happens a little bit more often, this can ruin a team's cohesion very, very quickly. Traditionally, teams can pause over the course of the series for roughly 10 minutes. So that's what's allowed straight to the rules. If one of your players has too many problems, then oftentimes it leads with you having to play the game out with the bot, depending of course a little bit on when exactly it happens. If it's right at the start, then it doesn't really matter too much. But Twice is back to business, is all that matters. They haven't really lost anything. And they still have, overall, the lead not only in the series, but also in this particular game. Now with level 16, we also got the Pulverize, we got Ignite, and we got the Pyromaniac. But the hits keep coming over here. With that, we have still the first bell tower, not quite converted yet, but it's getting closer and closer and closer for them. There's no talent advantage though. Yeah, Deathwing with the Bellowing Roar. Triple Altar faces up. Hook, stun, Gravity Lapse, and Bronek is going back to bronze. He is down, and even Malfurion couldn't save him here. So Urel had to pop her ult. But what about Carrigan? What about Leori? Can they get a few more kills in? 8 seconds until the altars are back, and as well as the red team has done thus far, they are still a little bit low, so they have to go back to the fountain and tap that quickly. Now, with that, here comes another quick play for Twice, and Warden and Tomb. That is the end of that. Topside attempt by Dehaka to cheese one of the altars. That didn't work, but since Carrigan is now charging the rest of the team down here, Leo is at least able to get one channel, or so I thought, and then Deathwing went straight in for the superhero landing. Was able to interrupt them again, so this isn't over yet. Another quick Tyrande Owl could happen. Yep. And that's the end of Malfurion's attempt to go for a channel. Carrigan has also been killed again. So things are getting a bit more nasty here for Rospiedol. They looked for just a second as if they were able to walk away with at least 2 of these altars channeled, but not quite. Oh, the isolation, too short! No! Down to single digits on the core. They have only 8 points left, and of course the big problem is that Disgusting is nearly on level 20. The bottom fight costs Leoric his life. Another stun on Minimal Furion, and as he's all grown up, he's still trying to rush away from this. But there's the gravity lapse, and Mouth is looking a bit rough here. Has to go for Tranquility. Dehaka coming in. Deathwing also saying hello. Stitches is on the channel, and he's going to complete it. So that's 4 points on the core of Rospiadol. They are on their last leg now. They need a miracle and a big one if they want to have any chance of bringing this back. And since hero after hero is dying on their end, I just don't see it happening. Malfurion is dead. We're looking at 22 kills, 2-6. Level 20 is already in, and they are just eating them alive. Hero after hero is falling. Leo is dead again. He died 8 times for the team. Kerrigan is murdered, and that's a 5-man team wipe. That leaves us with the boss at the top and should be the conclusion of the game. The regional qualifier for Poland, ladies and gentlemen, is gonna end right here, right now, as Disgusting takes the victory in the best of 5 series with a 3-0 and will therefore represent Poland at the Nations Cup. GG, well played, and a very dominant performance here by Disgusting. A well-deserved victory. Nicely done.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.